Scatter, your key to the blockchain. Signatures, identity, reputation, and security for everyone. The opinions expressed in this show are not the opinions of our sponsors. Hi everyone, I'm Jenny, and this is the EOS channel. EOS is very cool. It's been a little while since I've had a video out, a few weeks, stuff going on, but here we are going to introduce a new segment, and I have a co-host with me, Anna Taylor. Hi, Anna.
Hello. Hi.
How are you today?
I'm good. I'm actually, I'm in Norway, so it's nighttime here, even though it's only afternoon.
Yes, it is. By my time, it's only 11 o'clock.
It's like only 5 p.m. here, but it's completely dark.
Oh, yes, I could imagine that. So we are actually coming together to create a new segment, which is Invest on EOS, right?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Invest on EOS, yeah.
So this is our very first video, and today we are luckily joined by Haley Thomson of EOS Cafe. He is the head of strategy. Yay. Hi.
Hi guys, happy to be here.
Yes, so
Yay.
happy to have you. We know that you're a pretty busy guy, so it was so awesome that Anna was able to connect with you and rope you on board. And now people get to give you a little bit of extra limelight, because sometimes, you know, people can be quiet behind the scenes and not be seen. But so happy to have you here. So I'd love to start this interview actually inviting the viewers to learn a little bit more about you. So you could tell the audience maybe a little bit more about your background, a bit more about yourself.
Sure, yeah, no, thanks for having me. I'm really excited to be here. This is a pretty exciting time in EOS, and we're trying to get, we're here to talk about Rex in part, and just, you know, that's what we really want in the limelight. So I'm really happy to kind of have a chance to do that. For myself, I studied economics in school, economics and business, really kind of came to crypto from that angle. I kind of saw, you know, how it could replace the financial system, and I'd been working in the financial system and kind of knew its limitations, or, you know, was already being quite frustrated by it. So I saw crypto as this, you know, amazing ability to challenge the status quo, kind of got full into it about a year ago. Met up with my partners, you know, Sai Joffrey and Swan Doyle, and we started EOS Cafe block. So it's been an insane roller coaster this past year with the EOS launch.
Oh, I can only imagine. And you guys are responsible for the tool blocks.io as well, right? So you guys have been I utilize that actually every day, I just have to say.
Oh, thank you very much.
Yeah, it's a fantastic little tool, which obviously I'm going to eventually ask you to talk about, but that's my next question. So could you tell us a little bit about EOS Cafe, some of the tools like blocks.io that you guys have helped create or, you know, helped make available for the community at large?
Yeah, so my partner, Sai Joffrey, he's just a whiz, and he's been putting out tools from before launch. We're trying to focus on adoption and kind of the user experience. So we started off, we helped for fallback registration for Ethereum, you know, for the Ethereum migration to EOS. And then we had EOSKey.io. So these were tools to kind of help users get started with EOS. But then once EOS started and we were producing blocks, you know, everyone was coming out with a block explorer, and, you know, we were no exception, but we tried to almost have a one-stop shop for everything in EOS, and that's what I really get excited about blocks. It's a pretty amazing tool, and what I like about it is that you can do your transactions there. Almost any function you would want to do on EOS, you can do it there, and then right there on the transaction IDs, you can click on it, and the Explorer is kind of integrated with the wallet, which I find pretty amazing. So I'm always giving Sai compliments on kind of what he's created there.
Definitely. It's my favorite to investigate people on. Like, I investigate the blockchain.
Yes.
and I'll look at people's parents' accounts and then their children accounts, and I'll follow the trail, and I love using blocks for that. So thanks for doing that. It's really fun.
It's great for that. The investigative, yeah.
We found some interesting things, haven't we, Jenny?
We have, and it's funny because you took the words right out of my mouth. I was going to say that's exactly what I use blocks.io for. It's like, oh, parent accounts, children accounts. So,
and people, not that they're doing awful things, but they don't hide their tracks very well. You know, like 3 layers. You know, like it's like the grandfather account and then the grandchild account. You know, and 3 layers in, and they think it's hidden, but it's very easy to kind of track them down. So
yeah.
Which is true. Awesome. I mean, you know, it speaks lots about blockchain to people because they're like, oh, you can track it all. And it's just, I think, great for people that want to get into it.
It's a great example of transparency.
Yes.
You know, and immutability, because you can't like go back and change what account you made.
No.
It's forever there. You forever made that account, you know? Like,
I know, right? Yeah. It's like, oh crap, I screwed up. Well, then don't use that account anymore. It's like, I don't know.
Yeah. Abandon ship.
So I'd love to talk about some exciting changes that we have going on in the ecosystem. For those that are in the EOS world, you know, I'm sure, very, very, very sure you're aware that referendum went live very recently. And that means that obviously token holders can propose, which we've seen a lot of, and vote on different proposals that come up. If you want to, you know, support them, you can vote yes, no, etc. And one of the most voted on topics is regarding Rex, which was originally, you know, proposed by Dan Larimer, which I'm sure everyone knows who that is. If you don't, you know, go read up on him. And it's been getting a lot of exposure. So I do, I love, because you have been involved in some of the Rex stuff that has gone out in terms of posts and whatnot. I'd love if you could explain maybe Rex a little bit more. What is it exactly? In, I guess, the simplest way possible for people that aren't fully familiar.
Oh, can I make a note before he explains this? That EOS Cafe was one of the first BPs to come out with something to talk about Rex after Dan had said it. You know, aside from Chintai being pre-launch Chintai, but one of the first BPs to attach themselves to the idea of Rex right after Dan said anything was you guys. And
awesome.
Like, along with you talking about the basics of it, I was just wondering, maybe you can add in like what made you guys just jump at that? Like, what about it was so intriguing to you guys?
Right. Well, so Rex came out at a time, you know, where the network is very new and there was a lot of things happening. And, you know, I think Dan, you know, he solved, Rex was this very elegant solution. And he basically, in my eyes, he solved a lot of problems very eloquently by creating incentives. So, you know, Jenny asked, what is Rex at a very, you know, very simple level, and why did we grab onto it early? And I think as we saw that it just created an incentive for certain actions that wasn't there. So it basically rewards, it takes funds that are being currently unallocated. They're just accumulating in a pool. People are trading, people are bidding on these name auctions, and these funds aren't doing anything. And it takes those funds and it reallocates them towards the most engaged users, people who are staked and people who are voting. And those are already two huge, you know, that like at the time and still today, people were saying more people need to vote, more people need to vote for lots of block producers. You know, people shouldn't be spamming with their accounts. People shouldn't be leaving the EOS on their account. And, you know, people are allowed to do all these things, but we were just saying we want less of these actions and more voting. And Rex was, you know, you can shout it from the rooftops, but people are still going to say, well, why should I vote? You know, what's the incentive to vote? And Rex to me was the answer. It was an incentive to vote. It was, well, if you vote, you're going to get these rewards over time. And it was kind of a return on your investment, a return on your EOS that wasn't, you know, it didn't really exist. And at the time, Chintai hadn't launched yet. So that's why we got really excited about it.
Awesome.
It's like free money. Can we just say that?
In a sense, it's like free money. Yes.
So everybody's clear. Rex equals free money on EOS. It's a property. Like your EOS is a property, and you're given property rights. And like Dan said, you know, you have a house that maybe is, you know, you could rent out or Airbnb, and that's your EOS. And if you're not renting it out or Airbnb, you're totally missing out on an opportunity with Rex.
Yep, yeah, that's exactly right. And the thing is, it's everyone's money, you know, like, so people are trading RAM. And again, at the time when Rex launched, the RAM market was pretty crazy, and a lot of people were upset about it. But there was this flip side where, well, okay, but there's a lot of money accumulating from all this RAM trades, from the name, like the first names that went for millions of dollars, and that's everyone's money. You know, but just the way the code was, it was kind of being locked up, and it's still locked up in these accounts that no one has access to, but everyone, it belongs to everyone. So the current referendum that, you know, that I'm excited about and that we're trying to get people to vote on, it unlocks those funds for everyone. And it's democratic in the sense that anyone who wants access to them, they just go vote, they stake to Rex. There's no way to real game the system. There's no security risks or committee, you know, a lot of other issues there's been with communal funds. It's just, hey, you want these funds, go vote, go stake to Rex.
I guess so. Like, let's make it like real simple and think about this. So if you have EOS and it's in a wallet, or it's staked to vote for someone, or you're not voting, or you just have it and you're hodling, you're missing out if you're not restaking that into Rex, because you could be making a accumulation of EOS tokens in the background just for renting out your EOS to dApps that need it for CPU or for RAM or whatever that they need at the time. I believe it's been explained, like you have, you know, if you're scaling so fast and you need to get a bigger office space, then you staking your EOS on Rex is like offering that fast growing, you know, startup dApp a little more office space to continue to grow. And then when you actually unstake your Rex, you're making your dividends. Correct?
Yeah, no, that's exactly right. That's exactly right. You're missing out. So currently we don't have Rex, but you're missing out. You're missing, you know, once we do, you are missing out if you're not staked to it. And if we use Chintai as a, you know, because they're also you know, they've done price discovery on what people's CPU is worth. You know, I've seen it as high as a 30% annual return. And so some people are really worked up about, you know, being inflated away at 5% a year. Oh, this, you know, EOS price is going to go down because there's 5% inflation. Well, you can counteract that, the entire thing, just by leasing out your resources. It's very valuable to DApp developers. And you know, that's another thing why we grabbed onto it is it really is, I think, a win-win-win. The token holders win because they get a return. If you're a dApp developer and you're struggling with CPU, you don't need to use your example, Anna, you don't need to buy the building. If you're a startup, you can rent the building, right? So yeah, that's a win for dApps. And then I think it's a win for block producers as well, because it's a win for the whole network. There's just more people voting. There's just more engagement.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, and bringing it back to what you said earlier, is like the stipulation is you have to vote for BPs. That's right. Just one stipulation on that. And then it's like, the world is your oyster, go, you know, like open the floodgates kind of thing, but to incentivize that vote for BPs. Some people just go down the line, and that's, you know, if anything, the game theory behind getting people to vote is better than vote buying.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And it's an incentive to vote, but it doesn't matter who you vote for. Whereas vote buying is very much, if you vote for me, I will pay you, and that's bad. But saying, hey, if you vote in general, you know, this you get rewarded. You're a good community member. You're helping the network. Here's a reward. That's powerful. I think free money. You know, people. It was one initiative. Like everyone knows like what Telegram's like. You know, there's people on every side of every debate, and Rex was this amazing. It really was a win-win-win. Yeah. There was people, like, I saw healthy skepticism, but very few objections. You know, it was people asking questions like, does this concentrate wealth, or questions that need to be asked, but there was no one kind of like ready to go to war against Rex because it was going to break, there's been very few objections.
Yeah.
And that's another thing that got me really excited with the referendum is, there's going to be some contentious proposals. There already are, but Rex is how we can kind of all come together and we can say, hey, we want to make a change. We have a mechanism to make a change. We all want it. Let's make it, and we can kind of prove that this will work. And then we can do the more contentious stuff. But
it's been, if we think about it, it's been a rough year because we had like ECAF and then the price drop and then 2018 and then October 2018 when the stock market failed. It was like a really rough year for all of us, especially people that are involved in BP operations in which we're trying to launch a chain and you're trying to figure out the rules and regulations of a blockchain business and all this stuff. How do we do this together? And then the price is going down. You're like, oh God, we're sinking. And then like Rex, because especially the CPU maxing out and it just being nuts. And it was just like Rex was like this note from heaven, like that fell down like a feather, and everyone was like, and you're like, oh, don't touch it too much. It wasn't this thing like, oh, it's centralized and people fighting. They're like, oh, this could save us. And
right.
It was like, wow, like we totally all united on Rex.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah.
There's like, and I was working in the referendum core group, and when we were trying to think out, like, I worked with a few of the guys there, and I did the content strategy part of it, not any of the heavy lifting coding of any of that greatness, like the tally and stuff like that Dennis Carey did. But within that, we're like, so what's going to be the first proposal? Like, well, we don't want to get something too complicated, like the Constitution, like, oh God, like pulling out hair, like, will that ever pass? We don't know. And we're sitting there and I was like, what about a proposal to get Nathan James his money back from when he accidentally sent the scatter his funds to the EOS savings account? Like, that'd be easy. People will just, give him back his money. Everybody loves scatter. And they're like, no. And I was like, really, guys, this is being videotaped. They're going, you all should be voting for that. And then that's when I believe it was Josh from EOS Canada or somebody that was just like, what about Rex? Everybody's on board for Rex. And we're all like, yeah, Rex. You can go back to the videotape for sure for who said that, who said what, whatever. To me, it doesn't really matter. But the idea was Rex could unify us and it could pass faster. And like you said, it would be a win-win-win. It would be like, duh. And then we would prove the referendum works. And then we would get Rex. And then all of a sudden we'd be starting to add more value to our accumulation, but also the value of the community mindset. Because we're all like, what's going on? We want some win. And then when Brandon Blummer jumped into the V2 Telegram group at the beginning of January, like Brandon Blummer took hits to the face. Let's just say this. On New Year's Day, he took a bunch of hits to the face and he stood strong and he answered every single tough question that came up on Twitter. And I admire that. And I gave him a hard time. A lot of people gave him a hard time. But it was just kind of to see, what are you made of as a CEO? Because we believe in you, but what are you really made of? We haven't heard a lot from you or B1. And he took a lot of hits and he kept saying, well, we're going to incentivize voting and we're going to blah, blah, blah. And he was describing Rex. Did you notice that? He was slowly describing Rex. And eventually I broke down. I was like, why can't we just wait for Rex? And then it was like, ding, like, that's what we're talking about here. So Rex, it's a huge deal for EOS.
Well,
Everybody
considering
should be voting for Rex.
There's 57 proposals as of right now being shown, and it's literally sitting at number 4, most voted on, which is fantastic. Yeah. So now, although I do, because while I'm sitting here, I'm thinking sometimes about our average users that don't come in and have the, kahunas or know-how or whatever to sit in the Telegram or even come in Telegram and try and understand what's going on. But some people are probably sitting and going, well, I have EOS tokens and I'm already, renting them out on Chintai. Why on earth am I going to care about Rex? What is so different between what Chintai is currently doing and what Rex is going to offer in like just a couple of little points?
So Chintai, like I don't view them as being opposed. I find them actually very complementary. The Chintai team, they're incredibly talented. I think that they're some of the best kind of builders out there in EOS. and they're building like a portal. And I don't know, if you've read the Chintai kind of 2.0 proposal, but they want to cover resource renting, whether that's through their platform or through Rex. They want to do OTC, they want to do RAM. So it's kind of more of a portal. And I actually think the first place that users are going to be able to interact with Rex is probably Chintai. In terms of like what is the difference between the current offering and Rex, so the biggest differentiator by far is what the referendum is actually about, which is switching over the faucet of RAM fees and of name auctions. Currently the faucet's kind of going into this pool that's just collecting, and we're just kind of redirecting it to Rex. So not only are the same kind of proceeds from renting out CPU and net going to collect in Rex, but we're basically taking fees that Chintai just could never access. No one could access without a referendum. So that's the biggest differentiator of why kind of between two options, if you could rent your EOS to Rex or you could rent it to the Chintai pool, why you might choose Rex is because there's actually more proceeds that will flow there. There's a few other differences. One is that Rex is at a system level. So I trust Chintai, the platform, kind of like just implicitly trust it, but there is this element that it is a DApp. That when you send your funds out, you're sending it to a third-party contract. It is a multi-sig, it's very secure, it's highly trusted, but it's not at the system level like Rex is. With Rex, you're sending it to eosio.rex. The account that account was created by 15 block producers who sign an approval. It's not just a DApp. With that, because it's at a system level, you maintain your voting power when you lease out your tokens. Now, Chintai 2.0, they're going to do a very similar thing, where if you can still delegate your bandwidth and get paid for it, but retain your voting power. So that won't be a differentiator in the future. The last thing, and this is kind of a little more into the weeds, but I would say that Chintai is pure price discovery. Dan Laramie is a genius, but when he uses the term free market, I usually cringe a little because it's not how I understand the concept of free market. If you look at the RAM market, for example, I can't go and put like a limit order in the RAM market saying I'm willing to buy some RAM, but only at this price. Mm-hmm. And to me, that's a free market. It's just I can go in and I can say, hey, I'm willing to buy or sell, but only at this price. That's exactly what you can do on Chintai. With RAM, the Bancor algorithm, and then the Bancor algorithm that is going to drive Rex. It's not that case. It's the price is going to be based on how much EOS is already in the pool, and so I like Chintai's price discovery true free market better. The two are going to work very well together because if you have to choose between two options. Absent of Chintai, you wouldn't really know what the fair market value was for CPU, just like we didn't for RAM. Mm-hmm. Chintai's basically already proved it, that you can go look at it and say, well, why would I lease to Rex when I'll get paid more in Chintai? And over time, you think the prices would kind of even each other out. So those are the biggest differentiators.
Awesome. And fantastic answers, by the way, is exactly what I was looking for.
Yeah.
So, wonderful. Awesome.
Hey, I wanted to ask you, so is your proposal is Rex for all, right?
That is the proposal, yes. And that it isn't by any means mine. It was a working group, it was a bunch of BPs and stakeholders kind of came together, and we were up against the wall. I don't know if you saw, but another Rex proposal slipped in before we got to ours. Yeah. I would say it's more of a poll. It's not as complete, but this was like we wanted to do it right. We wanted to look at the ballot craft document and actually have a proposal that would be easy for BPs to pass, kind of unambiguous. Yeah. But at the same time, there's other proposals pouring in. They're getting millions of votes. There's so much education to do for community members that, if a Rex proposal was to outstrip ours by 5 million votes, how EOS, everything just snowballs, we might never recover. So it was kind of this race where we had to do things right, but we couldn't, we had to get out quickly. So But yeah, Rex for all.
For the record, you guys were the first BPs to jump on the idea of Rex and write your own write-up on it. And then you've championed it. And I'm not saying you guys own it or anything, but you've championed it for the community from like the very, very beginning, a long time ago. So the new proposal, whoever's proposed it, is not necessarily a voice of the community. Rex for All is official. I'm saying it is official voice of the community. Because I witnessed you guys from the very beginning championing that. So if anyone's out there trying to decide which one to vote for, I'd say go for the people that have been working their butts off night and day and night, weekends, weekdays for the past year, and are still here saying the same thing because they're really thinking about it. They're going the extra step, going through the ballad craft group, which is they're going very professional with those craft ballads that they're doing. And I think that just the effort should show you that the energy behind it is more genuine and has been a long-standing versus the opposite. And I don't know anything about the opposite. And with that, I wanted to ask you, who owns, I mean, I can go who owns domain if I wanted to, but do you guys know who owns EOSRex.io?
Oh, I don't.
It's like EOS Live, or it totally blew my mind what says at the very bottom, but I just remember Googling EOS Rex, and they are there and they're waiting, and nobody knows who they are, but they own that domain and they own all the social channels. So that's an interesting dynamic that we face in DPOS as well, is that someone can just show up and just be everything and throw some SEO at it, and all of a sudden they rule it on the internet, while the community is like, we don't know who you are.
Right.
So something we're fighting as well.
All we gotta hope is that's not a nefarious actor. Right? What a perfect domain for a phishing scam, right? So let's hope it's a true Rex portal.
Yeah, I agree. And I think that I think this is where BP logos do come into play, as not necessarily on the platform, but endorsing a specific platform and having the top BPs and every other BP endorsing the specific platform that we all know and love and trust. I think that would be important in the future too, once it passes and we have a place for it and stuff like that. I know it's in the GitHub. What? So I know it's being built, and that's really exciting. I wish Saeed could have been on here to talk about that. I know he would have nerded out in the code for us. But
yes, that would have been good.
But I also think that's not necessarily our audience right now. I think part of our audience would be interested in that. But this is more of like, if you're an average EOS token holder, or you're just into hodling, or you just like flipping crypto, if you want to accumulate during this crypto winter, there's quite a few different things out there for Bitcoin, and different coins out there. And for EOS, there's the casino games. If you're into different games, what they call it, what did the guy from Everpedia call it, the casino chain or something like that one time when he was talking somewhere. But we're not just a casino chain. We're trying to help people accumulate more wealth or more value with their wealth or value. So whatever you want to call what your EOS is, your property, we want to help people understand how they can accumulate more just passively in the background. And that's something that we're talking about right now. Is Rex is the easiest way and the simplest way. And it's true to the community's heart. Everyone's really excited about this.
And I would also say it's probably a little bit more secure compared to going out and doing a DApp. It's just, you can, because I've used what is currently available, which through Tintai, and it's like, at least, for the most part, it's like, it's going to come back, you're going to get your dividends, and Rex obviously will be definitely secure. So for the ones that, do just want to hodl and have a whole bunch of EOS, but still want it to do something for them, I think Rex is definitely the way to go.
There's plenty of dApps out there that you can make a good return for the first 3 or 4 months if you're getting in early. And Rex is the exact opposite. This is a long-term return. So for people that are like, hey, what's the next bet.eos. All the confusing configurations of the same things that are slightly different, those, over time, they're going to lose their value as more people jump on. And with Rex, it's the exact opposite. Is that true, Haley?
Yeah, so Rex is going to be slow and steady. And another thing I like about it is it really just does recycle. With even the casino games, like in a way, someone has to lose for someone to win, right? If you're making dividends, someone's losing. In Rex, like it's people who are trading RAM, they're doing it for their own purposes. Maybe they're making money, maybe they're not. Maybe it's commercial, maybe it's not. But instead of EOS almost being deflationary in the sense that all these fees, every time someone buys a new name, the money that belongs to us all, like .EOS, I think that went for over $1 million, that belongs to all of us and kind of benefits all of us. And it's just recycling it, right? So it then goes to the users. And if people get worked up about RAM trading, well, don't get worked up, stake to Rex, right? And then you get your dividends from it. So that's kind of what I really like, is it completes the circle. It makes it an entire network. And then there's people, just like a real economy, right? There's people who own buildings, there's people who rent them out, there's people who live in their own building, live in their own house, and they use their own resources. And EOS, with Rex, EOS will have all of that too. You can rent it, you can just be a renter, you can be a landlord, or you can just own the amount of EOS that you need to do what you want to do. And maybe that is gambling, but it's just anyone can do whatever they want. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, for those that aren't into watching all the hyperwaves and all the patterns and doing the calculations or setting up your API and all your algorithms and all that stuff, there's a lot of people that love and nerd out on that stuff.
Oh, there are.
And they love this stuff. And there's other people that are just like, I don't have time. I just want to do one thing and I don't want to have to lose by doing it. Like you don't get out in time. Like this is real simple. Stake it, collect it. It's that simple.
the user interface that I would love to see is for the person who doesn't have time. They're not 24/7 EOS like we all are. And so they say, they're the people who's like, why would I vote? We don't really have a good answer for them. So they don't vote. They hold on an exchange. And with Rex, that might change. The exchanges, they might stake to Rex, but choose not to pass it on to the holders. Holders might hear about this. And then they go, okay, now I get it. I vote. I get rewards. What do I do? And the interface I'd love to see is like two buttons, like stake to Rex, and then maybe just a drop down with like the top 10 best proxies. It's anyone's portal. Anyone could build this. So it could be as many proxies as possible, but it's just, here are 10 great proxies that did the work for you. Here's stake to Rex, 2 buttons, and we would just get more engagement that way. But you make it easy. You're not asking people, you need to go research 21 VPs. That's daunting, like, and once you spend a few months in EOS, then you realize like, I can only vote for 30. That's not very many, but for a new user, like they don't want to read my bio. They want to research 21 VPs, they want to click a few buttons. So it's
funny when, to keep it simple. And it's funny when you're given the option and then the decision, and then you're like frozen in fear of like, I don't want to make the wrong decision, even though you don't really care.
Right. Yes.
You don't want to make so they're like, never mind.
Well, that's when you see the click downs where they just go down the list to count to 30, and it's like, okay, it's done. I don't have to worry about it anymore.
Yeah, and then people get tricky when they do that, and they list the ones that they want you to vote for in the top 30.
I don't love that.
Which is not free market at all. But what you could do, like you said, if you did an option of proxies, and if you're like I'm a little more comfortable with the proxies. I kind of know what they're about and who they're picking. Now I kind of want to pick and choose from the proxies I like, the names I like, or the logos I like, or whatever. To have the option to pick 30 or choose a proxy and then stake. Like, I love that. And it makes me think maybe I should talk to Steve Floyds about this to do a UI because the simpler, the better, like for sure. The back end won't be simple.
No. I was talking to Rohan. So the two, I know Chintai is already working on it. You can already go to like jungle.chintai/rex to see their test net. And I'm talking to Rohan, and apparently the UI, like Rex, is very tricky. Like it's causing some headaches behind the scenes. Saeed hasn't on my team. He hasn't even started with it yet.
He's procrastinating.
He's procrastinating. Apparently, working with Rex is a little bit challenging. But the thing about our world is someone's going to solve it. They're going to open source it, and then we're all going to have it. It's an amazing ecosystem we live in. Like, everyone is so collaborative.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Make it mobile first, or mobile friendly, and then just show how much they could make right now if they unstake. And then that way it's just real simple. It's like stake, a picked, a staked, and then when it's the volume that you want to make back, cash out, and then restake. Do you ever thought about that? Cashing out, collecting the sum in which, and then restaking to make more? Like,
so the Rex, now I'm not a technical guy, so I need to go read the code, but as advertised by Dan Laramere, Rex did have an auto restaking, which allowed you to compound your interest. So you take the interest you made, and then 5 days later, you're now making interest on that interest. And that was already Rex as described. I would need to go dig through the code and ask some smarter people than me, is it truly in here? But that's what was described. So that's pretty awesome. Like, I think Warren Buffett has the quote that compound interest is the most powerful force in the universe. You know, and he was a few times the richest man in the world. So, you know, compound interest is exciting. Well, I just comparing the two, Chintai 2.0 is going to have the same thing, but it's great, you know. And I think the Chintai team did an amazing thing, because I won't lie, that was one of my first reactions when I saw Rex was, oh, you know, Chintai's screwed. And if that was like a knee-jerk reaction, but and if they had maybe taken a different attitude, perhaps, you know, or maybe they could have been more combative, but they've embraced it, and they've actually they want to be more than just a resource platform. They want to be a kind of one-stop shop. They have their own token. They want to be a multiple chains. So by embracing, basically, Chintai is such a good idea that Dan Laramere built it into the source code in a way.
Yeah.
So they basically doubled down on that and embraced it, and they're working with it, and it is just such a good approach to take. So
yeah, that was cool to see, because I remember when it was first being proposed, and they're like, oh, that's gonna just make Chintai, you know, useless at this point. So I love that they're kind of turning into the skid, so to say. It's funny because we're sitting here talking about Rex, and we all know it's actually going to be a little whiles away still. I mean, you guys are currently the Rex for All proposal is, like I said, 4th as of right now, being most voted on. It is above the other one, which included some different stuff. And we're 2 days in at this point?
Exactly, yes.
Yeah. I mean, I'd love to, I know it'll still take a while. I'm curious, how long do you think it'll still be until it actually rolls out, if you had to give an estimate?
It's tough in this world. Nothing's linear in EOS because it's DPoS. So, you know, one whale can just make such a shockwave, and who knows, it's just such a funny world. Are they already reviewing it? Are some of them already reviewing it just to see what it is? Has it not come across their eyes yet? And then, you know, our main task this week is to really reach out to the Chinese VPs. You know, we did take the time, the Rex, the working group that created Rex for All, we translated it, so it's in Korean and it's in Chinese, but we don't. I would imagine that it hasn't even hit their radar yet, because it was launched on Saturday by, you know, mainly in the West and on Telegram. So this week is where I think it hopefully just gets more traction in China, but it's really hard to say. I would like to think that in a month we'd be at 15%. It could be longer than that. It could be, or a few whales could, you know, a few whales could rocket it up to the top, and we could activate in a week or so. You really don't know. I have a secret hope that this is Block 1's code. So my secret hope is that Block 1 with 10% of tokens will just get us all the way there. But yeah, it's, who knows?
Give us a win-win-win. Yeah, we're all I know I talk about the Dan Hammer all the time, but pull out the Dan Hammer, B1 when you're going to do something, stuff like that. I think it'll be so exciting. It was so exciting to have Brendan Blummer jump in and say stuff and engage with everyone. B1's talking to us again, and I think it'll be so exciting when that passes, and it's yay, because we all hope that you're going to come in and like save us if we're like trying to take water off our boat, right? And B1's like ghost, and you're like, right? You guys are coming back, right? Like, and it's like nothing as they're talking to their lawyers and stuff. So I hope that they do step up and just show like, yeah, we're gonna take care of you guys. Like, you launched the chain for us. We're gonna come in and make sure you get what you want. You voted yes. Let's go. You know, I really hope so too. And I think with the promotion, you're right. I think that the Asian communities and the majority of our community might not even realize that Rex is out because of the timing in which it was promoted. Marketing wise, it was promoted right after the referendum went live, and they used the same image, or pretty much kind of the same image of the referendum image where someone's voting, and it was like the same visual image used on the Rex for All. So it kind of just looked like the same update. So I think if we all did more promotion on Rex for All, I think that's all we're missing is for people to be like, oh, you mean that's a different update? Because it kind of looked like the same, even though it had a different title. It was just like a really energetic day where people are really overwhelmed and excited about referendum. So it kind of like got shoved under the excitement of referendum. I think that's all it is. People don't know.
Did, and it was tough. You know, we did everything we could to have the proposal one of the first ones live because we didn't want to be kind of buried. But then you're right. That was a big downside. Was we're like if you go on Reddit, is just an example because Reddit buries all these threads, and it's like you can't distinguish vote for Rex between the referendums live. The messages are all just they happen in the exact same time frame, and even like we want to release a video and we can't even decide is our video how to vote for the referendum and we'll just use Rex as an example, or is it vote for Rex, which and what is going to draw more people in? Like, do people care about how to vote, or do people care about voting for this one proposal? And it's more just so close together.
Vote for free money on EOS. Vote, and it's just a big button of vote, and it's just that's all you can do. Like, user interface, vote for free money, vote, and then log into scatter, vote, like, and then people are like, yay, cha-ching, and then make a cha-ching sound. When as soon as they vote, they log into scatter, vote, cha-ching. There you go. They learned how to use the referendum. They learned how to vote for Rex.
And they already they got
or just
free
take
money
a clip of Anna saying all of that right now and just add a ching, and there you go. You just made it.
Cha-ching.
I think that's the title. The title of this video should be "Free Money," and then
I've thought about it. She said that. I'm like, well, now she's giving it away.
That's good.
I was going to say, I'm excited because we're already at 4% voting. I know for any of those that were here for the launch of the chain, how it seemed to go on so freaking long until we hit that 15%. And for people that don't know how the whole referendum system works, you have to get up to the 15% voting and stay there for 30 consecutive days. And then there's other stuff around that too before it even goes live.
Can I just say a loophole right now? And am I allowed to say this? And will it still be true by the time this video comes out? I don't know. But right now, there's a little loophole in which when you're voting and then when you use a proxy to vote, it's not right. I'm in the core group and we're trying to figure out why it's not taking out the extra vote. So everybody go vote and then go use a proxy to vote for Rex, and then we'll double it and we'll just get it done faster and hold it for 30 days.
We're gonna hack the tally tool.
Yes.
But that'll get fixed within 30 days. You know that, right?
Yeah, but let's keep Dennis distracted for 30 days, and everybody double spin your vote for Rex, just Rex, and let's get it going.
That sounds good.
I'll be quiet.
Full disclosure, they're gonna fix it by the time before this video comes out, because I'll go tell them that I put it on the video.
Quite likely. So there you go. Don't go do it then.
No, still try. Still try. We're trying to break it. We have to break the referendum to figure out how to make sure it can
actually. That's a
what we want
fantastic
it
point.
to do.
Fantastic point. Yep. Well, man, I swear we've talked your ear off and asked a whole bunch of questions. I've gone down through everything I have except for, is there anything else that you'd like to touch on that we haven't discussed that you just want to share? If you want to have this a sharing moment and you want to talk about personal things, go right ahead. But anything that we haven't touched on, this is totally your time, your stage.
Oh, so I mean, like this is like the Get Out the Vote for Rex campaign, and we've talked about Rex. I think there'll be questions, but I think hopefully we've sold the benefits of Rex. Yeah, the thing is, like, I'm really excited about 2019 and EOS and the launch of the referendum at the beginning of the year. I think it's really cool, but I think with Rex, like, it's not just free money. I mean, it is, and that's great, and you probably don't want to ask for more, but Rex is also like, it's symbolic, because with the referendum, we've talked about the first governed blockchain. There's been all these problems with ECAF and all these problems with the Constitution, and we've just been kind of like just in the muck with governance since launch. And now we have a referendum system, and there's problems with, not problems, but people can propose stuff, and there's complete troll proposals, but if you take a high level view, we now have the mechanism to be a self-governing blockchain, to chart our own destiny. And Rex, I think, as we talked about, as Anna talked about, it's uniting us. So, like, for me, Rex is more than just free money. It's like this symbol that, not just in EOS, but hopefully just in crypto, that, hey, here's a community that figured its shit out. Sorry, you can bleep that out.
No.
Here's a community that figured its shit out, and now we're self-governing, and here's a proposal that everyone loves, and we passed it. And it wasn't controversial, and and we got it done, and now so it's kind of like, if we can do that, then we can do not anything, but we can do the next thing. And it's really symbolic that we pass Rex. And on the flip side, I don't want to be a pessimist, but if we don't pass Rex, if we don't pass a proposal that we are all so united on, and that is free money, that's gonna be a completely different path that we would have to go down as a community, because governance is broken. Mm-hmm. And so I hate saying that out loud, but it's true. Like, if we can't pass Rex, free money that we're all united behind, no losers, everyone wins. If we can't pass that, then we actually have to rethink kind of everything, because for the last 6 months, whether it was ECAF or whether it was the Constitution, it all came down to the referendum. It's like, okay, well, once we have a referendum, we'll change this rule. Well, if we can't change the thing we all really want to change, we're not going to be able to change the more contentious things. Yeah. So it's not just Rex; it's for the good of EOS, But you also get free money if you have Rex. So
yeah, it's like the rising phoenix during this crypto winter. You know what I'm saying? Where our community is like, everyone's kind of starving, and they're like, oh man, I'm out of furs, and like, we're not going to make it. And some people are like kind of fading off. We're like, no, don't go. And VPs are like shutting down shop, and we're like, oh god. But we all want Rex. You're so right. If we can't get it to pass, but if we can, we'll be like this rising phoenix all through crypto winter, accumulating, and then to have some of the first people to actually claim that I became a millionaire on EOS. Mm-hmm. Like, I literally became multi-millionaire through EOS. Like, I'm a success story. Like, that's just amazing, especially through crypto, because it's gonna be so hard. It's gonna be like next 2 years. It's gonna be really hard. It's gonna be a hard time. But as long as we're all accumulating tokens, like, crypto is not going anywhere. It's not. Blockchain's not going anywhere. It's all about accumulation right now. So, like, this is, like you said, a total win for our community. For us to unite on this, especially being DPOS, that's special, because everybody's so opinionated.
Oh gosh, but no, I absolutely, I couldn't fully agree with that point more, to be honest, because you're right. Everyone has been using referendum going live as like the little, needle in the haystack. It's just like, we need to find it, we need to pass it. This is how we proceed. This is how we inspire the change that we want to see on this blockchain that we've all hitched our little wagons to, and it being right now EOS Mainnet. So Yes, I know that, like I said, Rex is number 4 right now. And if you agree with that proposal, go out, vote. I mean, we need to get stuff brought up to the 15% threshold and then keep it there. We just need to do our crap and make this how we want it to be. Absolutely.
Like, let's help Haley out, EOS Cafe. Thank you so much for doing the heavy lifting. I know that you're behind doing writing. The first proposal was by you, so you did a lot of research into it, Haley. That means so much to our community.
Rex for All was like, I thank you, Anna, but Rex for All was a community curated thing.
Oh, I was talking about the first proposal.
Okay.
Remember months ago, that first one? That you, like, the very first proposal that EOS Cafe wrote right after Dan wrote about it, that you wrote up. I was giving you credit for that, but yeah, you're completely right. The second one is community driven. A bunch of people are part of that, and we're really proud that you guys championed that for us and like kept it going strong this whole time. That really means a lot, and for us to be at this moment in which we all know we want Rex, and we all know referendum's live, and we all have the tokens, and we've been talking about it for so long. For every single person that likes to make content and likes to make videos and likes to talk about this stuff on Twitter or in Reddit or whatever, we need everybody's voices to say Rex for all, Rex for all. And if that's our hashtag on Twitter and that's our hashtag on Telegram, and we make stickers and we make memes, Pixel EOS or whatever they're called. There's so many versions of the original Asia's code, but whatever's hot right now, the biggest, coolest one. They all sound the same, but
it's Pixie EOS.
Okay, thanks.
Pixie EOS,
to make, you know what I'm talking about, the artistic one that I really love and enjoy, and I'm sorry that it's just that it's the same thing with Bet Dice and Dice Bet and Bet One, and it's just, you know how it goes.
Y'all got to change your names.
We all need to create content, and we all need to have our voices heard. Rex for all, Rex for all. Just shove it down people's throats, say it over and over again. Free money, Rex for all, whatever. We all need to help the guys behind EOS Cafe and Rex for all. There's a bunch of BPs behind it. Help them get the word out, because they're probably exhausted and they're still going to put out their marketing for it. But if the community is writing up about it, then it will be wildfire. So I challenge everybody in the community that wants it, then do something about it.
And you are focused on the right thing. It's Rex for all. I mean, that's the cool thing about the blockchain is it's all our database. So, we have a voting portal, blocks.io, but so EOS Authority has an amazing one. EOS Titan one is gorgeous. You guys built EOS Votes, and we all point to the same thing. So we don't need to fight over what domain or what portal people use, or be that self-promoting, because what really matters, it doesn't matter what portal you use. Just go find Rex for all. It's there. Go find it. Like that's the hashtag. That's what matters. It's an unbranded proposal. It's Rex for everyone. Free money for all. Rex for all. Yeah.
Yeah. Love it so much. Awesome. Thank you so much, Haley.
Yeah, thanks for having us. I'm really excited to talk about this, and yeah, let's get the vote out.
Yes, thank you so much. We'll definitely be putting this out. And yeah, go ahead.
Can I say, hey, what EOS Cafe, what is your official voting BP name for people to vote for EOS Cafe if they want to?
It's EOS Cafe Block.
EOS Cafe Block.
EOS Cafe
and
Block. Yes.
You guys are on our proxy.
Well, thank you. Yeah, thank you very much.
We love you guys.
If I'm going to show myself, go to blocks.io, vote, and popular or not, we pre-selected ourselves to make it easy for you. Also vote for all your favorite BPs. So yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Definitely.
Wonderful.
And if you have any questions about that, I would encourage you to go into their Telegram group. The EOS Cafe Telegram group, go ask Haley or Saeed questions, and if they don't have the answers, they know who can help you answer that. So they're very helpful.
And all those links will be in the bottom of the description of this video. So I wanted to thank you so much for taking the time, for Anna to, getting you on this show. This has been informative and educational and fun, and free money for EOS, yay, and go vote. Thank you so much. Really, really appreciate this.
Thanks, Jenny. It's been a pleasure.
Wonderful. Thank you. Have a great day, Haley.
See you guys.
Bye.
This episode was brought to you by Scatter.